This video is sponsored by Naked Wines. The menu for this video is pretty great. We're going to be doing some smoked beef short ribs with horseradish mashed potatoes. And we're going to be taking the drippings from our beef ribs and turning them into an amazing gravy. Now, I have 5 pounds of USDA prime beef short ribs here. I want to get these seasoned up. I'm going to be using my Smoky sweet rub, but I also want to get a little bit of a binder on these, and I'm just going to use some Worcestershire sauce. These are going to go in the refrigerator overnight to let that seasoning soak in. I get questions sometimes when I say it's going to be in the refrigerator overnight, asking, do I cover it? Unless I specifically say I'm covering it, generally things are uncovered in the refrigerator when I do something like this. And these will be uncovered in the refrigerator. As I said, I'm using my Smoky Sweet Rub. I will put the recipe for that in the video description. I'll also link a video that shows you how to make it. All right, that's looking good. Now these are going to go in the refrigerator overnight, like I said. And tomorrow we won't go out to the grill right away. We're going to come back in here because we need to get some prep ready for when we wrap the ribs, because we're going to be doing them on the Weber Kettle, probably maybe 2 hours unwrapped, maybe 3, just depends on how they look. Then they're going to go into a pan that's going to have some vegetables, it's going to have some beef broth, and that's really going to help finish them off, and that's going to provide our drippings for our gravy. So I'll see you tomorrow back here before we head out to the Weber Kettle. Well, our beef short ribs have been soaking in that seasoning overnight, and now, as I mentioned, we're going to get something ready for a later stage in the cook, which is when we wrap them. And we're going to be putting them in a foil pan. And in that foil pan, I want to get some onions and some carrots. We're also going to add some beef broth at that point, so it's just better to get it all done now before we head out to the grill. I'm not going to peel the carrots. I'm just going to take the ends off and chop them up. I want to take the paper off our onion. And these onions and carrots are just to bring more flavor to what is essentially the braising liquid in that second part of the cook. This is very similar to if you're going to make these short ribs, say in a heavy-duty cast iron Dutch oven. In the oven, you have all these nice vegetables in there with the liquid to help bring more flavor to that broth at the end. Just a rough chop on these. So here's our foil pan all ready for the beef ribs. When they're ready, once they're ready, they'll go in here with some of the beef broth. Like I said, we'll cover it with foil and it'll go back on the grill for another 1 to 2 hours. So now we can set this aside, head out to the grill and get our beef ribs on. All right, the Weber Kettle is up to temp. My target today is 250 degrees. I have water in a foil pan in the cook chamber, and I'm using the Mallory firewall and the Mallory cast iron grate. So let's go ahead and get our beef short ribs on. I'm gonna get a couple pieces of hickory on here. All right, we're going to get the lid on, get smoking. We'll come back in an hour, see if we need to spritz. But for now, we're just going to let them start developing some color and absorbing some nice smoke flavor. While our beef short ribs get going here, let me tell you about the sponsor of today's video, Naked Wines. Naked Wines connects you with the world's best independent winemakers, cutting out the middleman so you can enjoy amazing wines delivered straight to your door for up to 60% less. Your membership, along with more than 300,000 others, allows winemakers to do what they do best, craft top quality wines without expensive sales markups common to the marketplace. You get better wine for your dollar, and Naked Wines will even tailor recommendations for you based on your ratings, like your own personal sommelier. Shop on your terms with no tie-ins or hidden fees. And if you order through the link in the video description, you'll get $100 off your first case of wine. Thanks again to Naked Wines for sponsoring this video and supporting my channel. We are at the 1 hour mark. Temp's been holding really steady right around 250. Let's go ahead and check our beef short ribs. Those are looking really good. Definitely do need to spritz though. And as I mentioned, I'm just using plain water. We definitely have more time to go on these. Could be another hour, could be another 2 hours. We'll come back in an hour and see how they're doing. See you back here in a little bit. All right, we are at the 2 hour mark. Let's check our beef ribs and see if it's time to wrap them. I gotta say, that color is really what I'm looking for. These are looking fantastic. It's time to wrap them. I'm sure we'll have to do a little cramming to get everybody to fit here. That's okay. I'm going to add 2 or 3 cups of beef broth now. Want this nice and tight. Doing 2 layers of foil. Back on the grill. We're going to get the lid back on, and this is going to go for 2 hours before we give it a check. See you back here in a couple hours. All right, we have been in foil for 2 hours. Let's go ahead and check and see how our tenderness is. Just want to peel back our foil here. Take this foil completely off because we can't really see anything here. We can get it back on. Smells really good. All right, let's check for tenderness. Yeah, those are tender. We're reading. Let's see if we can see that one. 207. So I'm going to get the foil back on these, but first, when I get inside, I'm going to take about 2 cups of that liquid. I'm going to strain off the fat, and we're going to use that when we make our gravy. But I'm just going to cover it back up after that and let these rest. So I'll see you inside. So for our potatoes, I have 6 large russet potatoes that I peeled, cut up, and boiled. They're done right here. And we're going to start mashing these and adding our other ingredients to make these horseradish mashed potatoes. And I'll tell you, I'm a little bit disappointed here because I can't find my favorite potato masher. It's one I got a few years ago. I don't even remember where I got it. It's got a rounded bottom, so if you're in a bowl, it meets the contour of the bowl. I love it, and I can't find it. So just a little mash here. It's always best to do this when they're nice and hot because if you're adding butter, that's what you want. Next up, we're adding a stick of butter. This is unsalted butter. And I really want to get this in here before I add the rest. I want this to start melting. Next up, 1.5 teaspoons of kosher salt, 1.5 teaspoons of some coarsely ground black pepper, 1 tablespoon of dried chives. We're going to add our 1/2 here in just a minute. Just want to get these seasonings in here and get that butter distributed a bit more. I have 3/4 cup of 1/2 and 1/2. I'm going to add about 1/2 cup first. We want a nice creamy consistency, but not wet. And I think this is feeling really good just after that initial amount. I think I'm going to like this. Everybody's going, where's the horseradish? It's coming. See, this is the consistency that I like my potatoes. Not really, really, really kind of runny. I like a little bit of texture, but still smooth. I don't care if there's a little piece of whole potato in there. I like that. Maybe this is kind of semi-rustic. Now for our horseradish, we're adding 2 tablespoons of fresh grated horseradish. If all you can get is, say, prepared horseradish, that's fine. And I want to kind of sprinkle it around in here before we mix, so it's not all in one clump. Ooh, and I am already smelling it. After we mix everything, We will taste it and see if we need to adjust anything. Let's get a little taste here, see how we're doing. Needs more horseradish. I'm going to add about another tablespoon of horseradish here. Maybe a little more. I also want to add like a really good big pinch of kosher salt here. That was maybe half a teaspoon. And that's just to taste. That's why it's important to taste things and adjust your flavors. Take another little taste just to verify. That's good. All right, I'm going to cover this with some foil and we're going to move on to making our gravy. All right, we're going to go over to the stove and make this gravy. In my pan, I have 4 tablespoons of unsalted butter, and I'm going to start adding the other ingredients and getting this going. I've got this on a medium-low heat, and to my butter, I'm going to add a 1/4 cup, same thing, 4 tablespoons of all-purpose flour. And we're going to whisk this all together here. Should really be on a medium-low heat here, and we're just going to go for a couple of minutes to develop some color here. We're also going to add a 1/4 teaspoon of ground black pepper and a 1/4 teaspoon of kosher salt. You can kind of see we're just getting a little bit of darkening in there, but you want to definitely keep it moving. All right, I'm going to add my beef broth from that pan with all the vegetables and beef juices with the fat removed. This is 2 cups. And I want to whisk while I add it. And just keep whisking here, and we're going to bring the heat up to medium till we get to a simmer. And we're going to do this for probably 4 minutes or so until it starts to thicken. All right, we got some bubbles going. You can definitely see that that is starting to thicken. You can bring your burner down to low. Now, if you want this to be darker, you can add some kitchen bouquet or something like that. When you have the flour that thickens this up, that lightens that beef stock, this is going to taste great. You get a quick taste here to see how we're doing if we need to adjust. That is good. All right, let's plate up our mashed potatoes, our beef ribs, and our gravy. There we have it, our smoked beef short ribs with horseradish mashed potatoes and homemade gravy. Let's dive in. Now, the main attraction is going to be the beef ribs. I'm going to just jump in first and get some mashed potatoes because I love mashed potatoes and gravy. Cheers. That is really, really good. You could actually do without the gravy and just have those horseradish mashed potatoes if you don't want gravy. Maybe just do some of the pan drippings on there without making a full gravy. But this is terrific. Now, let's have some of our beef ribs here. Yeah, I'm eating with my fingers, so what? This kind of meal with the richness of the beef and the potatoes calls for a wine which is going to go well with it, which is going to pair with that sort of boldness. And today we have a Cabernet Sauvignon from Matt Parrish in Napa Valley. One more bite of this before we have some wine. Potatoes and beef together, and this is perfect. Let's have a try. That's really, really nice. Like I said, you want something with that sort of bold forward flavor that's going to complement our beef ribs because both of these things are packed with flavor. Once again, I want to thank Naked Wines for sponsoring this video and supporting this channel. And remember, if you order from the link in the video description, you'll get $100 off your first case from Naked Wines.